What is going on with everyone out there in our MNC Hoops world? We're excited to be back live with you all for yet another episode covering a lot that went on in the NBA, basically in a week span where a lot of things happened, from drama, from games, from performances, some even debates and some different things going on, playoff pushes and everything, historical nights, we'll say that, with some of the play as well. But before we get into it, I want to apologize that we didn't go live on Tuesday. It was completely me. I'm getting old, people, and I was struggling from my Little League's baseball team's practice, and I needed to take a day. Sometimes you got to wave the white flag. CJ was nice enough to say, hey, let's just do it on Thursday. So here we are. We're going to get at it now. But before we get into it more, CJ, how you been doing? How's your week going? And tell me some more about this YouTube. Just letting you know, just tuck the kid in. I mean, like I said, I just watched CJ's video on YouTube. I couldn't figure out what was going on because I didn't hear any talking. I said, well, we'll get to that. I guess it was at a certain point where the volume wasn't on for him. He's like, I don't know what's going on, Dad. All right, keep watching. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, just watch the highlights. That's it. Don't worry about the other stuff right now. But yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate the support. All is well. All is well, bro. Really good week. Positive. There's a lot of basketball to talk about, a lot of things to discuss. It's ready to do this. So
sounds good. We'll try to be quick on our topics because there's a lot that kind of went on this week. Different duo matchups, top plays, who's MVP push here. I mean, we know it's SGA or if it's Jokić, but like it's really, I'm going to say it's a tight race, or maybe I'm biased because who I want it to be, and I feel like he's getting passed up now. I mean, it's a lot to talk about, but let's go ahead and jump into our first one here. Of course, it's a game that's going to start here shortly. We got LeBron James facing off against Steph Curry at 10 p.m. Eastern time, of course. Warriors versus Lakers on TNT. It's always a good matchup between these two legendary players, historic players, top 10, obviously, however you want to rank them. CJ, there's been some debates too, who, as far as social media is going around, who would it benefit more for their career, it's Steph or LeBron to win another ring. It's just always when they play, there's all kinds of talk going on. So what do you think about this game? What do you expect and what's going to happen?
Man, we're so blessed. We're so blessed to have two of the greatest players in the last decade to play in the NBA, LeBron, Steph Curry, for them to meet in the finals for as many times as they did, for them to win championships against teams that wasn't them as well. For both players to show that. We know their rivalry starting from that 2015 finals and everything that's come of it since then. You just can't take this for granted. And for them to still be playing at a high level right now, 15 years plus, LeBron 20 years plus. 20 years plus. Still playing at a high level. So Steph Curry as well just had 52 the other night, 10 threes, 10 plus threes in a regulation game from one player. You're telling me he's not top 10 all time?
Absolutely.
So I think if a championship for Curry, it puts him in the Duncan, Kobe realm. And same thing for LeBron. I mean, listen, there's, Kobe fans, they feel, Duncan fans as well. People sleep on Duncan. There's a lot of Spurs fans that feel like Tim Duncan is definitely up there as well, based on what he's done. Look at his numbers, what he did in the finals, he was going crazy. So that fifth championship, what that does, it really puts you in a different discussion. And then for LeBron, like, it'd be 5 championships, 5 finals. And I mean, that's just. But if it plays out how it plays out, if the Lakers were to win, you never know. He can definitely win it, or Luka can win it. Look at what Curry's doing right now. Both organizations, right? And this is why both organizations were able to keep Hall of Famers like this for an extended time, for them to still be able to sacrifice, put their body on the line after accomplishing so much. They don't stay complacent. Mike Dunleavy Jr. He goes out, he makes that Jimmy Butler trade, despite everything that people talked about Jimmy Butler. What they 18-2 playing together.
That's crazy.
18-2. So that's a night and day difference from what we saw in the first half and a little bit extra of the Golden State Warriors in the regular season. So it's a big time monumental move. Everybody else stepped up. It wasn't just Jimmy Butler coming in there. Everybody stepped up. See Draymond getting because offense flows. Then we see one of the biggest trades ever. Two of the biggest trades in the last few years were teams that had LeBron and Steph Curry. So again, those just shows to show their dominance and what they've been able to do. And now, even the present day, how competitive and how close the West is by a game, half a game, it's going to get real. It's going to be high level competitive basketball in these next few. This is pre. I guess you could call it the pre-playing, because now seeding is definitely going to be going to matter for sure. You have to win these games. You have to lock in. You want to have home. You want to have a game 7 on your home floor if necessary. Of course, can you go out there and win on the road? You're supposed to do that. You're a professional. But if you get that home court advantage at home, there's nothing better than that. So this is going to be a great game tonight. It's going to be another classic. The Christmas game was a classic. Austin Reeves blew by Andrew Wiggins, get the layup for the win. Curry could have almost hit a half-court shot. It's a little bit off, but I'm excited for this matchup. And again, I'm not taking this for granted from what we've seen. We're going to see another classic between two of the best players of all time, 2 top 10 players ever. For us to be living in this right now, like, it should be talked about a little bit more.
And really, can we say in at least the past decade to 20 years since we got LeBron in this might be the number 1 and number 2 players in this decade, or at least this era. I mean, that shouldn't be too far to say. I mean, Kevin Durant, I have highly up there, but as far as what we know of NBA and what's changed, it's been these 2 guys that really have changed the NBA. So, I mean, not because of just stats and everything, but as a whole, I think these are the 1 and 2 for the NBA. We always say the face, but at least what we had in this last decade, you can extend it to 20 years. I'm more of a decade, but these are number 1 and 2 to me. What do you think?
Absolutely. 1 and 2.
Okay.
LeBron and Steph, the last decade, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
And the finals multiple times, defeated each other, historic seasons, MVPs, finals MVPs, all-time records and all-time record accomplishments broken, started,
Points,
trailblazing. It's just everything. This last decade has definitely been the LeBron and Steph era, easily. And then we're seeing even on the next side of the 5. Going into 15, they're going to be in the beginning of that. We don't know what that's going to look like. I would imagine maybe just a few more years from both. I don't know, because Steph's still dropping 50 at 37.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's going to be up to him in terms of like what's going to happen. But these guys are elite, and they match up again in the playoffs. It's like, wow, LeBron got the best of him last time, 2023, in the second round. Austin Reeves stepped up, big time matchup.
This earpiece keeps trying to fall out on me.
And they're both trying to get the championship. They're still competing, trying to get the championship. And this playoff run is going to be historic. There's going to be upsets. There's going to be shockers. How could you not see that just based on what we've seen in the talent in the West?
And it's kind of comical too, because since the trade, of course, what happened for both teams, the trades, we started out having a conversation of you asking where I thought the Lakers could finish out, 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 spot. I can't remember. Excuse me, because you're really high on the way the Lakers are looking, and rightfully so. I mean, the record looks great since the trade. But what I said was I think the Warriors could really come into that play. And so, like, we're watching this now from what we were talking about back there. These possibly could be your front. I'm not going to disrespect Oklahoma. These two teams are your front two teams. I'm not saying the only two, but to win the championship this year of what they've done now. In my opinion, as hot as they've been, 18-2 by just getting Jimmy Butler. Not to mention the Lakers, what all they've done. Of course, they've went on some losing streaks here and there. And LeBron was out for a while. Luka's missed some games. There's still injuries. But still, the Lakers and Warriors are in that top bracket now for potential of winning the championship this year. It's just how it is. They're always going to be in that storyline. Johnny, your comment was on here for a while now. I'm going to go ahead and bring it in as we get back to the topic, and I don't want to not bring it up. On the Cats Chat, my college show, Johnny is one of the faithfuls in there, always in the comments. He wanted to break some news to us for the NBA, but he said, hey, I'm sorry it's off topic, and I told him to remind me, so he's doing this. Of course, Dylan Brooks been suspended for all of his flagrant, or the technicals, basically, flagrant fouls, everything they've done. I'm not for sure what his suspension is, but he did remind me. Thank you on that, Johnny. I do appreciate you getting in here in our comments. But every time they play, there is some historic moment, in my opinion, that happens from Steph and LeBron together. Christmas games that we've talked about, of course, the finals that they were in too. There's always almost a defining play or situation that happens in the history of NBA when these two match up.
Exactly. It's just when you're watching Legends, you just, for me, it's something for me you just have to appreciate. Mm-hmm. Because, and we'll talk about the eras, but just to transition this, ultimately, you have to figure out what's going to work against these two teams in the playoffs. Because as great as Oklahoma City is, and they're an excellent team, when you're talking about game planning and playoff experience, these are the two top players that have the highest IQ when it comes to the playoff experience. So to get in the regular season wins is great because, one, you're building chemistry and they're a young team, and for them to be able to win as many games as they're doing at the age average that they're doing it at is very impressive.
Absolutely.
So it's not disrespectful when we look into the playoffs and we say, okay, LeBron is with Luka and Steph Curry's with Jimmy Butler, and they're with playoff Jimmy, and they're going to the playoffs, and you're telling me in a 7-game series that doesn't make me a quote unquote hater. That I'm looking at it as, I've seen these four players, if you combine their duo, their running mates now, be successful, go to the finals, whether lose or win. Now they're paired together, and you're telling me I'm crazy. There's no way I'm crazy.
Right. I mean,
for sure, it's going to be a great series. It's going to be an excellent series.
Yeah.
Because, again, they're young, but they still have high IQ. Because if you win those amount of games, you have to have elite IQ. Mm-hmm. There's no question about that. But for me, you ask me, do I trust in the playoffs in a 7-game series? If you tell me to rank the players, LeBron and Steph are 1 and 2.
Yep. With Luka probably right behind at 3 or 4 at least, because what Jokić. He's done in the playoffs, and the Jokić, of course, too. But Luka taking basically his own team and putting Phoenix out, these different runs that he's done by himself to just say, I'm going to do whatever I can to win and still do it in the playoffs. So to have Luka and LeBron on a team, not to mention you've got Draymond Green, who is a different caliber of that mentality that they have, or the IQ you said. So, I mean, and Butler, with Miami, these 4 or 5 guys on one team or in one series would be amazing. But, going back to what OKC, and we need to get to the next topic. I know we've got so much, but OKC has the IQ, but we've not seen them be challenged too hard yet, as far as in a series where they might be down a game or 2 and have to come back for it. We've not really seen that in a playoff. So to me, the Lakers and the Warriors almost have 4 or 5 coaches on that team that are high caliber coaches. Some are just players. And you go to OKC, no disrespect to them. It's just we've not seen them be able to make those adjustments when it's in game time. So, you basically got to say the coaches got them well ready and doing the right things, making the right reads in the right situations. So it will be fun to see how that transitions for this playoffs, because this is their year to really show what they can be. So I'm excited for this playoff, man, especially in the Western.
Exactly. Two teams. Yeah. 2 other teams that are special that had a phenomenal game, one of the games of the year. The Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets. This is an all-time classic. Went down to the wire.
Of course, these will be 2 more players soon that will be having this same conversation that we just had with Steph and LeBron.
Yes. And Jokić had a historic night, 61, 10, and 10. It's crazy.
He almost had half their points.
61, 10, and 10 in an hour of basketball. So
crazy.
That just goes to show you what's possible with him, and he's in his prime. But the Timberwolves got the win.
That's with 6 3-pointers from Jokić too.
True. The Timberwolves got that dub. Anthony Edwards went out there in the second half, had a phenomenal second half, 24 points. Nickeil Alexander-Walker was knocking out big shots. Big shots. Julius Randle played well, extremely well, since he's come back from the injury. He's played some of his best basketball of his career. Him understanding this is Ant-Man's team. How can I help him space the floor, still play my game, but have to be able to space the floor efficiently around someone like Ant, because he's automatically going to draw 2. It's just like 4 3-point makes from Randall. That's a great night. Plus the slashing, he goes to the free throw line a couple times. 26 for sure. Until he could get 26 for the rest of his career. He could average that for the rest of his career easily.
Oh yeah.
So now I'm glad it's working, because I feel like a lot of people didn't want that to work. So I'm excited that they have this, and Randall has the same winning mindset. He's definitely motivated as well. He's getting traded from a place that he helped bring back to status, and they move him for someone else, for someone else. You're gonna have a different type of motivation. And I feel like with Ant, motivation is the same thing. Them being teammates together at the right time. I feel like it's perfect. Randall's still in his prime. I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker starting point guard for the team. He was great with the Pelicans, just like Dyson. The Pelicans had Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Dyson Daniels. And they still have talent, which is the crazy part. They still have some talented guys on that team, but they had Dyson Daniels, who could be Defensive Player of the Year, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I feel like he's going to be a starting point guard for the Minnesota Timberwolves for a very long time, because he's doing exactly similar to what I said with Randall, and he's with the assists and the defense and the timely shot making. Those are players that you need around Anthony Edwards every single night. And they understand that, and they battled through. They made the necessary stops. Edwards hit some big shots late, and they got the win. Jokić was able to do. It just puts him in a different class, the highest scoring triple-double performance ever. Luka had 60, 20, and 10 against the Knicks. I was watching that game, and I think I was doing a show when he it was crazy. I was just looking off a little bit. He had 60, 20, and 10 against the Knicks in Dallas. It was an insane game. But this game right here from Jokić, he's unstoppable. Yeah, he's unguardable. He has the high IQ. He makes the pass at the right time. The guys are ready to shoot it, and you can't stop him in the post. There's not one center This was supposed to be this is the 4-time defensive player of the year. She gave him 61, 10, and 10. So what does that tell you? That there's nobody else in the league that could guard him. But you have to start. Here's what it is. We're going to talk about the bigs. We're going to rank and we're going to do a segment, and it's going to be extremely difficult. The difference with Jokić is with those other all-time centers. Kareem had Magic, Shaq had Kobe, Hakeem Olajuwon had Clyde Drexler at the right time. Put them to win those 2 championships. Now Jokić has Jamal Murray. He won the championship with Jamal Murray, right? As the second best player, he played phenomenal in that playoff series, especially in the finals, in the Western Conference Finals. But how many championships can they win together as a duo? That's the question. Because he's going to go down if he wins multiple championships in addition to the multiple regular season MVPs he has. Definitely you'll start talking about LeBron but he has to win the championships and the finals MVPs. He has to win the championships and the finals MVPs. He has to. You have to be able to get the regular season MVPs in complement with the chip and the chip MVPs. That's what puts you in the all-time status. That's literally like the criteria for all-time status right there. You need both every single time for a player to be in that discussion all the time. So,
just kind of going with that, the one thing that separates LeBron from Michael Jordan, in my opinion, is, the scoring titles with the championship and the defensive teams. He's doing it all. And when you're doing 61, 10, and 10, he's doing it all. So, he just got to get a few more awards or rings as well. And, it will escalate where he finishes in his career as far as the rankings of all time. I just wanted to throw that in. So, yes, winning the MVPs for the regular season and finals with the ring, that is so important.
Definitely, and that's going to be the question for him ultimately, because now it has been a question about talent for the last 8 years or so.
All right.
So, and even if you look at his rookie highlights, it went by under the radar. Why? Because he was a center, and there really wasn't anyone like him early in his career. Got very close to where it was between him and Nurkic.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be talking about Damian Lillard completely different, I promise you. We'd be talking about Damian Lillard completely different. But they had the scouts that saw the IQ and the stuff he was doing at the 5 spot and at that age. And then once it was able to train, now he's in his prime, 29 years old. It's over. And like I said, no one can stop. He could easily go into his 40s. He played into his 40s. So we say he's 29 right now. Let's say hypothetically he plays till he's 40. That's 11 more years of. I'd be shocked if he doesn't win at least 3 championships in that decade.
Oh yeah,
I'd be shocked. So especially at this point right now, he's clearly in his prime, best player in the world. And the Timberwolves have the Nuggets number. Let's talk about it. They defeated them last year in the second round. So, yes, all granted, we saw the excellent performance that Jokić had. They were still able to get the win. They didn't have Murray or Michael Porter Jr. And this will always be, to me, this will always going to be a 7-game series because Ant-Man is special too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's a problem. And he's worked on his 3-point shot. His jumper is clean. He's able to get the lift and the follow through. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Now that's because really that's what really unlocks you, because we already know the slashing is there. So now if you dare go under that screen, you go under the screen, it's over. It's a wrap. And he understands that. So they're gonna start going under the screen on me. So I'm gonna start making these shots. He knocks down 3 of those. It's 25 easy. because now you have to worry about that. Now you have to step up. Now he's going by you with a quick first step. You bring help. It's an easy dime. Had 8 assists. He's going to go down as one of the best players too.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I almost feel like
that's why the West is. This is the NBA, NFL. This is the 2 greatest shows out right now, especially the Western Conference. Man, this is crazy. This is about these next 5 years. It's about to be crazy.
Ant-Man, who obviously is talent and really becoming this superstar, I feel like he's almost getting the Jason Tatum factor here, or as far as the recognition. He does get more, in my opinion, of when Jason Tatum was coming up. Ant-Man gets a lot more publicity, I think, on this, but I feel like Jason Tatum, his road to stardom was kind of on the back burner because we still had LeBron doing everything he does. We still had Steph during those times, and Jason Tatum was coming in to be the superstar. Now I feel like everyone's finally, okay, they've got a ring. It's there. I feel like Ant-Man is in that shadow just a tad bit of so many star players. Jokić, of course, LeBron and Steph still, Jason Tatum finally, Butler, what he did. Ant-Man is there, but once that they can make a big run into the playoffs, of course, Luka as well, that I didn't mention, and Giannis. I think Ant-Man's makes that big leap possibly this year, the way they're playing. If they can make that big run in there and go to maybe second round, if they could get to the Western Finals, that would be huge for them. And really, I know it's Minnesota, but with a young core of Ant-Man that they have, and of course Walker playing well, Julius, who's not so much young on that core, but he's still prime. That's really a landing zone, a landing place for free agency, if you would think about it. Like if you're a veteran that's still got a few years, hey, I'll take a pay cut to go play with them and be a spot up 3-pointer, a 3-and-D. I mean, why not? Let Ant do the work. Gobert will protect the rim as much as he can. Julius is also a solid defender player on the big. Why wouldn't you want to go there? So, I mean, Minnesota, they're up and coming. Like, I don't want to say they're the Pelicans of what we used to talk about because Pelicans didn't ever make it. But the Timberwolves are really that team that's so close to being our future team now. Or I'll say the Celtics. How about that of what we had? You good with that?
I mean, listen, the Celtics. I don't really see that, but what I do see is I see a great defense. I mean, this is a high scoring game,
but double overtime though. So I mean,
they've been playing great defense. Gobert plays a part in that. I just don't see it. I just don't see a dominant defender.
Mm-hmm. Rim protector, really. Let's just be honest. He's been put on islands before, but he can protect the rim.
But even in the playoffs, it's like I don't even really remember like a big time defensive performance he's had, and he's been in the playoffs pretty much his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nonetheless, but in real, like, teams don't want to drive. They see him in there, they're definitely going to stop, and that what that does is take time off the shot clock. Now you can get back in front of guys, and they have the athletes and the perimeter players that could be able to defend, slide their feet. They're young. Coach French does a great job. He's a phenomenal head coach, one of the best coaches in the world, for sure, no question. His team was in the Western Conference Finals last year. And it took some time. It was a new team, but they always kept defense as their identity. And if you do that, you're always going to, and the offense is always going to be there. I mean, one of the best players in the world, top 15 player, top 10 player, maybe, and on the planet. So, and the supporting cast is elite. I said Randall, all-time, all NBA player, most improved, multiple-time All-Star. Like, that's not just some other guy. Like, he's still a really good player, and I'm liking this team, man. They're a team. I really don't think some of these teams. It's going to be a tough night. It's going to be a tough night regardless. going on the road, you got Edman and his guys. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they could go in there and spoil some things, no doubt.
Absolutely.
They could go out there and definitely spoil a lot of people's favorite teams' hopes of going places this year. They have the type of talent to do that.
We'll see. Definitely. So let's go back. We kind of talked in with this a little bit on our next topic here. Of course, going back to Jokić, is Jokić a top 20 all-time player right now?
Yeah, so this is a clip from Marcus Morris. Shout out Marcus Morris, man. You got us some segments, right? You got us some segments today. Appreciate you, my guy. So this is crazy. So this is what he said on First Take today.
Do you agree that Jokić is already top 20 player all time?
We laughed about this off the screen, and I wasn't really counting his 3 MVPs, but I'm still not going to say he's top 20 right now, right? His body of work is definitely impressive. The game has changed completely since Jokic's been in the game. I don't see top 20, and that's not no knock to him, because what he's doing is special. He's transcended the game, the way he can pass, the way he can control the game, how hard it is to guard him on the post. But top 20 right now, nah. So if this, I don't even want to say this, but if he stopped playing today, would we say Jokić was a top 20 player in the NBA? I don't agree.
Kirk, why are you looking at him sideways?
No, go ahead, Stephen A. Go ahead. I said what I said.
What he had to say. Let me say this to you. I disagree with you. I want to thank you for being on the show today, because the amount of heat that you're taking off my shoulders and everybody, it's a beautiful moment. I mean, Kirk, we need to celebrate today, okay? Right. Because the brother
Did it freeze up? You must be muted. There you go.
Nah, I paused it. It was pretty much
okay.
That was pretty much it. I didn't see the rest. But just gonna show some highlights of this historic night from Jokić, man. But what's your thoughts on that? Do you view Jokić as a top 20 player all time?
Okay. I don't like to get into naming top players because you're always going to leave someone out or someone disagrees with it. But I'll say this. Phenomenal player, getting the stats, got some MVPs, got a ring. He's definitely a superstar that we have in the league. And I'm not trying to not answer. I just feel like Morris's answer was almost like it's a joke to even consider him top 20. I think it's a debate, and I think some people can easily have him in their 20. Some people cannot. But to act like it's completely out of the question for him to be in there, I think it's really baffling to me to think that the way he acted to me, it's like he might not be in the top 50. It's kind of disrespectful on that, because Jokić, as you can even see this highlight, he just made that no look behind the back pass right down the baseline. That's hard to do because of the angles that you're doing anyways. Like, the man is good. He scores, he's passing, but he makes the right reads, and that gets overlooked, I think, sometimes. Nobody likes to see the small things that why that pass went or why did he throw it here, but it's because he's reading what's going on and he knows where to be putting the ball or passing the ball, because he's looking at the defense, sees, okay, I know that cutter's coming there, boom, I've got this. So it's hard to put a caliper on the mindset of a player, of what he's thinking, and to be able to understand stuff. So to me, I'd have to really sit down and pen and paper, write it out to know where my 20 is. But I think it's close if he's not in there. I mean, we've had some great players over the years, over the decades, but Jokić, 61, 10, and 10 as a center with 6 threes. I mean, he is a player. So I'm going to say, again, I don't know as far as counting, Kobe, LeBron, Michael, and going through to how far I would get. But I think I'd probably have him in my top 20. What about you?
So now we're looking at 11 through 20. I gave my top 10. Top 10 for me was, this is not in order. So got Jordan, LeBron, Kobe.
That's in order. We know it.
Kareem. It's not in order, man. Kareem, Magic, Bird, Tim Duncan, Shaq,
Okay.
Steph Curry, Hakeem Olajuwon.
Okay.
So that's my 10.
Did you say Magic?
Said Magic and Bird.
Okay. Okay.
Kevin Durant. Now you're talking about guys like David Robinson, Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, Pistons, Isaiah Thomas, no question. Yeah, you get into a lot of players. So is he at that level? Is he in that? Could he be in that 11 to 20 right now? Yes. Yes. No doubt about it. He's already a 3-time MVP. There's only been a handful of players that have won 3 MVPs, and all of them are tied the top 10 or close to the top 20. So that alone just completely negates the whole argument. You know, it's just funny how he started off with that. Like, I forgot about the 3 MVPs. Like, yeah, bro, like that factors
While
into
he
it.
was
Like,
playing too.
Yeah, that factors into it. You know, listen, I don't really know. I don't know if there's a little bit of bias here. Of course, you know, Jokić and Morris had, you know, their little squabble online and you know, on the court and off the court. So did that play a factor? I believe so. Because he's 1,000,000% a top 20 player. He sounded crazy. He sounded crazy, man. Like, I know, you know.
Yeah.
He sounded crazy. Listen, that's just what it is.
And of course, even with that, you know, I don't even know if you mentioned Julius Erving, you know, Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Bill Russell. I mean, Dirk, maybe even. So, I mean, there's so many players that you could throw into it. Oscar Roberts, even, or Robertson. But so, I mean, that's where it gets so much to me to say this is a solid 20, because you've got a 58-year-old man out there that's like, no, man, this is my top 20. And 15 of them are from his era because that's what he watched. And they were solid players, of course, but then you get the bias that you get through there. So it's tough to really say a top 20.
Jokić or Dirk. Right there.
Jokić.
They're available. Right there. You have them available. I'm going to
Jokić.
You're going Jokić. Okay. So Jokić, Chamberlain. I'm going Jokić, man. And listen, Chamberlain, honestly, actually, yeah, I'm still going because of the floor spacing. Yes. And the floor spacing, being able to shoot the 3 at an efficient clip. Chamberlain was pretty much just doing the same thing, but just in a different way. To me, with the way I look at Wilt Chamberlain, it's like Shaq mixed with Giannis, because his build kind of looked like Giannis, but he dominated inside the paint like Shaq. The way he was able to run the way that I seen some of these clips, he was able to run the floor. It looked like Giannis.
Yeah,
so
it really did. But that's what I wanted to ask you. I'm kind of glad you were comparing the two, Dirk and Jokić. I want to ask you this: Giannis or Jokić? Because we didn't even say Giannis.
They both have 1 championship. Giannis has the finals MVP, chip, and defensive player of the year. There's only been Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon. There's only been a handful of people that have been able to get. I think that's it, actually. I think that's it. So that's an elite class.
Not to mention today's game, he finished. Oh man, it just went away.
He's averaging 30 right now.
He had 35 points, 20 assists, and 17 rebounds tonight.
One of the greatest in the world. Is Giannis top 20? He's in my top 20.
Okay, so you got both of them in top 20.
Yeah.
Who would you take though if you had to start a fantasy league, whatever, or you become a governor and you've got to pick between Giannis or Jokić? Who you going with? I hate saying governor.
Yeah, if I'm an owner of the team and I had to draft Giannis I would go Jokic.
Okay.
I would go Jokic just because he's at the 5, and that center just he has to step up. He has to. If he doesn't step up, it's floaters, it's threes. And then when
Giannis
he
is more skillful, I think. I mean, I think we
Still
can say more
skillful.
Athletic.
Can you elaborate?
Athletic. Well, let me change it to athletic. You know, I mean, he's faster, able to do the different, you know, European or Euro steps if you want to, jump out of a gym, do all this, get those massive blocks, rebounds. He's more agilitized, we'll say. But the brain that you're getting with Jokic and what else he does with his talent that way, it's apples and oranges, really. It's just really what kind of style you want to play. If you want a passing center that can do everything and have everyone spread it out to just be shot up or spot up shooters, that's where you go. But if you want someone that you can get the rebounds and take off with the ball and everyone running the fast break, constantly just moving around, you go with Giannis. So, I mean, it's one of those things. Like, if you really try to think X's and O's and coach, it's just preference, you know. I would like Giannis over Jokic for the fact I like a fast pace with that, you know, get it and go and do this. But if Jokic is there, hey, I'll probably change my style to take him number 1.
Absolutely. Jerry West. This is all respect to the legends. This is not disrespect. I'm just going off like
right.
This is you have great options and there's no wrong answer. But I'm just saying who I would go with. Everybody has their preference. Everybody has their preference. So,
and Jokic looks like an old time player too. Let's just be honest. You know, he's slow.
He's strong. He's able to get to his spots, and there aren't any centers. Teams don't have centers that are physical enough to be able to have physical contact with him in the paint.
That pass, boys, I'm telling you.
They don't.
He didn't even look over there, but he knows he's there and can throw it.
Like back in the day, they had teams literally drafted centers that were just big and tall and could take up space just so they could be able to stop Shaq. And they still weren't able to stop Shaq. Like players should be thanking Shaq for them getting NBA contracts because they literally drafted them because
Sam Smith.
You need to be able to stop this guy. So I'm waiting for the
Steve
NBA.
Smith.
I'm waiting for the NBA to catch on. I'm waiting for these other teams to catch on and be like, hey, maybe we should you can slow the game down. If they want to slow the game down, we can slow the game down too.
Mm-hmm.
And
I honestly think that's why some of these
but most of these centers are. I mean, he took 6 threes, which is not. I mean, it's for him to get 60 and he only took 6 threes. That means a lot of his points free throw line, mid range, and in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where he gets his shots. He's just too dominant.
Only 18 points from the 3-point line, and we're talking about Steph's game, and he had 10 in 1 quarter or 1.5, I think it was. So I mean, it's old school style on this. It's so ugly of a shot.
Dirk or Jokic is a great comparison, man. It's a great debate to me because Dirk is top 10 all time in scoring, and that championship he was special in that play. I mean, you just can't. I won't be able to rate. Everybody was watching Miami, and he said, "I'm one of the greatest ever." That's what that series. That's pretty much what he said. That's pretty much what that series was. But he was able to do that entire playoff run, and I think against a better Miami Heat team, let's have the conversation. Dirk beat a better Miami Heat team than Jokic did. That's just a fact.
And my favorite player in the NBA,
and Bosh year 1, like motivated, locked in. They were locked in, and we saw that. So.
But yeah, Jason Kidd's my all-time favorite. I love the passing that he does. I still won't say that Jason Kidd was a superstar on that team. He retired the year after. He was after his prime, but he was still very important for that team as far as being the coach on the court. But it was Dirk and company with Jason Kidd still being very elite with his pass setups and reading and being the general out there. And it's one of those mental things. It's hard to put a number or a value, whatever. But yeah, Jason Kidd was special, of course. But Dirk really did that. Dirk was great.
Yeah, it was great. They had a great team. and they had and that team was so locked in from the jump. So yeah, when we're having these discussions and conversations and debates, like who would you rather take? I mean, like I have to factor that in what I've seen.
Mhm.
Have to. John Morant's got a
Oh,
game
absolutely.
winner. John Morant's got a game winner, 110-108 in Miami.
Keep those guns down. Keep those guns down, Ja.
Yeah. Wow.
He should have been suspended. He should have been able to play today. Miami wins. Forfeit. I'm playing, guys. Calm down.
Yeah, they're going to get mad. It's just a celebration. That's it. I don't understand. It's not that serious.
It's because of his past, and that's it. Because that is a new celebration. I mean, I think it's weird, honestly, that that's a celebration, but it's a new thing. You've seen it in college many times. You've seen it in the NBA many times. But because Ja did it, that's it.
Listen, he got the game winner right over Khalil Ware. That's right over a 7-footer, a fadeaway mid-range jumper for the game. Easy. Top 25 player. No question.
All time or right now?
In the league right now. Come on.
Okay. Well, we just got done talking top 20, so I was making sure.
Come on, bro. We're not crazy.
So let's go back to the West. As you know, Memphis, doesn't make sense that they're in the West since they're in Tennessee, but they are in the Western Conference. Let's go ahead and jump back over to this topic here. Which team is going to be the biggest threat in the West for OKC? We kind of talked a little bit about it, not much, but of course we're going to jump into it a little bit more. I mentioned the Warriors and Lakers, but the Rockets have been playing great here lately. Even Timberwolves, as we just talked, and of course the Nuggets. All those teams are going to be competitors against OKC. But who is the biggest threat to OKC? Oh, look at that. Right on time with the click, too.
I got him coming out. Let's be frank. Adding Luka Doncic really changed it. LeBron can come off the ball. Austin Reeves is playing really, really well. I don't know why you're looking like that. I don't know why you're looking like that.
I mean, just like that.
Luka Doncic he just did it. Okay. He just did it. Okay. And now he adds arguably the greatest player that ever played the game. Arguably the highest IQ player that ever played the game. And they have guys behind him. He's bringing his Louis luggage to the Western Conference Finals. Let's get it, man.
There's nothing that I'm questioning as it pertains to Luka and LeBron and what they bring to the table. That experience, their greatness, no doubt about that. And Austin Reeves has looked absolutely phenomenal. No question about it. I think he's looked like the best third option in the NBA over the last couple of months.
Sounds like CJ now.
You took me aback with your comment, and welcome to the show, by the way, brother. But the reason why you took me aback was because I'm like, we just going to ignore what we're seeing from Oklahoma City? We're just going to ignore that. We're going to literally look at Oklahoma City and go like this. We would be surprised if they made it even more so than the Lakers. To me, that's not appreciating the greatness that we see from this crew right now.
I'm not even going. I wouldn't even say OKC was next. I would say the Clippers.
What?
I would go as far as say the Warriors over OKC. What has OKC done outside of the regular season?
Well, I get that part because they lost in the Western Conference semifinals last year, but that was last year. Yeah. What about what we see in this year? Top-rated defense, superstar in SGA.
I do.
You see, got some young thoroughbreds. Jalen Williams can ball as well. Got some size picked up. Hartenstein and Caruso in the offseason. Got Chet Holmgren back in the lineup. I'm like, what are they missing that would make you say not only the Lakers, but the Clippers?
Experience, Stephen A. Experience at 24. The average age of the OKC is 24 years old. Who's been to that mountaintop? Who's been to that mountaintop? Who's been through adversity on OKC?
I got.
Who's been there? I'm asking you. Who's been there?
I understand that there's plenty of people that haven't been there and get there the first time.
All right. So, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on Marcus Morris quotes? And who do you think is the biggest threat to OKC in the West?
First of all, I don't think Clippers are number 2. They're a great team. Don't get me wrong. They're up there. And I'm not being disrespectful there, but I'm still super high on the Warriors with what they're doing. I can't believe this conversation has not even happened, that the Warriors weren't even mentioned there. OKC is the number 1 team in the West, and the West is by far superior than the East, period. Let's just be honest. So OKC to keep doing this, I think they're over 60 wins. To tell you exactly how many wins they looky there, to tell you how many wins that they actually have, I'm not 100% sure. There are 64. There are 14 games above everyone else at least. They have been spectacular this year. Number one East and West all season long. They have to be respected. Now, I do agree with Morris as far as the veteran, the experience, that is going to be a situation for them. But it's unfair to say because they don't have that experience that they're not in it. I mean, to win 64 games is phenomenal. To win 64 games in a conference that has LeBron, Luka, Jokić, Steph, Butler now, so many others, and I didn't even say Kevin Durant, Booker, or that team because, well, they just plummeted, let's be honest. Anthony Davis is in it. I mean, so to win 64 games in this caliber conference is so much more spectacular than just winning 64 games. So they have to be the favorite going into the playoffs to be the Western team in the NBA Finals. They have to be in that conversation. But I do get the experience from LeBron, the experience from Luka, that they are a top competitor moving into this to possibly win the Western Conference. But I'm going to say, I'm there, I guess. The Warriors is my biggest threat for OKC as far as you've got Butler, who loves to play defense and to take a team on his back. You got Draymond Green, who's probably going to be on Chet. Butler's going to pull the assignment, probably SGA quite a bit and be more physical with that. And that's going to cause chaos for OKC, in my opinion. And then you got Steph, who's fresh, not really having to have too much of a demand on defense. Of course, there's still Williams and everyone else. So I just feel like the Warriors has the better size, physicality. Their X is bigger than OKC's O in those superstar parts of who's going to where, in my opinion. So I'm going to OKC. And the reason I'm not going Lakers is LeBron and Luka, phenomenal offensively. Of course, AR is looking great too. But guarding guards has been a little bit of a problem all year for them. And we know that's a situation at SGA. If Luka's on him, it's going to go around him. Let's just be honest. If Austin Reeves is guarding him, I think that's clap too. So I give the advantage to OKC against the Lakers just because of the defensive part of it. And I think the Warriors are more defensive minded and committed to that than the Lakers are. What you think?
So in a 7-game series, you got the Thunder over the Lakers.
It's tough to say just because of the experience.
It's tough to say. You just said they were better.
But how can we not really 64 in the Western? We have to give them respect at some point. And again, I like what Stephen A. said. Everyone makes it there for their first time at some point. So it could be their first time now. So we can't just not put them on the pedestal of being the number one just because they haven't been there yet. Like, that's disrespectful to them. It gives you got to show your respect to the teams that have, yes, but okay, I've got to. They have proved it already. So yeah, I'm going to take OKC and SGA basically in a 7-game series over the Warriors. And that's so hard to say because Steph, Butler, Green, that trio that they have going on, 18-2 since that trade. But that's why I think they're the number one contender against the Thunder.
So yeah, listen, they're an incredible basketball team, and they're on a 10-game win streak, 11-game win streak. They're going to be difficult to stop in the playoffs. You're focusing on that one team, and you just have two of the greatest minds on the court ever. And SGA is one of the best players in the league, top 5 player in the world, no doubt about it. For me, when you look at a 7-game series, can I see Luka and LeBron losing 4 times? I don't really see that right now, and that's really what it goes down to, right? And do you see them losing 4 times? Everybody healthy? Now they're not a perfect team. Let me make sure I get that clear. They're not a perfect team. They don't have great size. They don't rebound the ball well. They give up a lot of points in the paint. Their bench play is going to be a little inconsistent at times, but I feel like ultimately when they're with especially with Reeves being able to play well, you have 3 guys that could get you 5, 5, and 5 in one game. 15 assists from 3 players, and then you just hope everybody else would have the same mindset on offense. So you get for the rest of your team, you get 10. That's 25 assists. Honestly, it should be more than that. It should be around. They should be able to get 15 too. From telling me from 6 other guys, they can't get 15 assists. So you're looking at 30 assists right there, potentially. And a lot of those assists are threes. And they're going to be wide open threes because of the attention that Luka and LeBron draw. So you're gonna have to double Luka. So now you're leaving LeBron open. For me, I'm seeing LeBron open in the playoffs. I want to hear LeBron more wide open than he's ever been in the playoffs. So that's something that's going to be different. So it's going to look different in this Western Conference. I believe can Oklahoma City defeat the Lakers in a 7-game series? They definitely have the team to do so, no doubt. And we're gonna see if they team up and up. That's gonna be a great series. If you're asking me right now, I would take the Lakers in that series because I know the playoffs is completely different. It's just completely beast. Luka just left the finals on a previous team. You're telling me he's not motivated to get back to the finals and win the finals with the new team he's on, of course, to try to send a message to the team that traded that he has a chip now.
Right.
He gave that guy a chip already. It's already built in. So that's scary. It's like he's a 6'7" Jokić. It's Jokić. I think they're the same type of player at the guard spot. Extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Again, and he's an underrated rebounder too. I mean, he averaged 30. He's a 30-point triple-double season average guy as well. He can easily do that every single year, 30, 10, and 10, easily. So when you have someone like that, and then you have LeBron out there too, it's difficult. OKC to have a deep team. Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Dort, Caruso. If OKC wants to win the West, Chet Holmgren has to be their second best player.
Yeah,
because he's the versatile front court player that could change the game on offense and defense with his elite shot blocking and his ability to come out there and guard in space and be confident in doing that. With his floor spacing, he has to once he gets stronger, say when he gets around like 24, 25 years old, 25, 26, it's over. He can stay healthy and he can just continue to put on weight and get stronger. It's a wrap. They're going to be a problem. So don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that he's the X factor. He's the player that can completely take this team from an excellent regular season team to a dynastic team. He's that type. He has that type of talent for sure. Can he? Will he get to that point? I really hope so. I believe he can. I think he's talented. So their future is bright. The present is great. But I just think right now, Warriors and Golden State, another great series. Again, same things like playoff Jimmy and Steph Curry with Draymond Green and Steve Kerr coach and Steve Kerr and Mark Dagley. How could you not take those things into consideration? You take everything into consideration. But in this moment, this is a brand new season. You're going to ask me who's the best players in this season? It's really only a couple of those teams, and Denver as well because they have the best player in the league. And they have one of the best teams in the league. They're going to be dominant. Always. They're always going to have a shot. They're always going to be in the game because their best player is their best playmaker. when your best player is your best playmaker, and then he's your best player and your best playmaker at the center spot, where it's just unstoppable. That's the third level to that. Because you have guards, like they're the best player, they're their best playmaker, but not at the 5.
Right.
So the fact that he has a different 3 that he completes, it just separates him from everybody else. And you're always gonna be in it. Always. So it's gonna be an exciting run. OKC, they're 64-12 with a chip. And I think it's great because a lot of people like myself, I'm picking other teams over them in the playoffs. So if they go out there and prove me wrong, it just goes to show how great their team is. I don't care if I'm wrong. I'm not that type of person who's going to get upset. I just want to see great basketball. Everybody has a prediction at the end of the day. That's how I see it.
So you're picking the Lakers as the best option?
I would say the Lakers are the biggest threat, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they have 3
now,
players
I'm gonna
that get 25, 5, and 5 every night. You can't tell me another team that can do that other than the Celtics.
Yeah, Draymond's not getting 15.
He could. Not the 25, but he could definitely get he should be able to get 15.
Right.
He should be able to get 15, but you're right.
But here's my combat to why the Lakers aren't, as I look at some of these, at least the statistics on wins and losses, okay? The Lakers are 29-9 at home. That's amazing to be only losing 9 games at home. So in a 7-game series against Oklahoma has more home games. The Lakers have lost 20. They have a losing record on the road at 17-20, which by statistics, that would be Thunder's advantage. And, of course, I know this is regular season and it does change. But when you look at Oklahoma's record on the road, they've only lost 5 at home. And they've only lost 7 on the road. So it's not so much a home away for them. They're just good. But when you look at the Lakers winning 29 at home compared to 17 on the road, there's a little bit of a difference for some reason of what's going on. I'm not saying home court advantage or anything, but traveling for the Lakers has been a losing record for them. So to win at least 1 game on the road, 2 games on the road to have a chance in a 7-game series against anyone, it's looking doubtful on what happened, at least in the regular season. And you look at, of course, the Warriors, they're positive record either one. 21-17 on the road, 23-14 at home. So I feel like the diversity that they'll face favors the Warriors in that matchup just because of how they play on the road. 17-20, it's a little scary, honestly. Of course, different team. They got Luka midseason. I get it.
There you go. You
right.
already know.
I know. But I'm just saying.
That's real though. That's real.
Right.
And on the road in the playoffs, rank the players you trust on the road in the playoffs.
Listen, of course, LeBron's been there so much. We know he has to be at the top. And, of course, you have to go Steph. And Luka, what he's done in the past 2 years with Dallas, he is great in the playoffs. So, yes, I trust them for what they've done in the past. But I don't want to disrespect Thunder because we've not seen them in the playoffs yet much.
I just don't think it's disrespectful. I just think, once you're able to, once you're able to defeat the all-time legends, then it puts you in a different class. So that's all I see it as. I don't see it as disrespectful. I just see it as they have an opportunity to write their own story, and we'll all be watching. That's it. That'd be a crazy story. We say, they went out there and, that had a great series against a healthy LeBron and Luka. Now you're undeniable,
right?
And that's what they're aiming towards.
What's crazy is the Clippers are number 7 right now. I mean, and
you brought up the Clippers. What's your thoughts on the Clippers? Yeah.
Well, that's what I was just going to get at. He mentioned the Clippers are the number 2 favorite next to the Lakers. I mean, they are on 8-2 the last 10 games. We do have the Claw back finally, and he's looking well. they're not to be overlooked. Like, we talked about it before. I think the Clippers really the dark horse of the West. They're not really the high caliber talked about team because of the different teams or different things that went on storylines for everyone else. But I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they made a big run, but I do think they're a little bit behind everyone else. We've got to see if we're going to say what people do in the playoffs. Harden is great for 6 games. But the 7th, he doesn't play. I mean, so in the past, Harden has failed in that particular game, at least. So you can't put too much faith in the Clippers because of that. But Leonard's, what he's done in the playoffs has been phenomenal. So, I mean, it's a Hackle. Wait, what is it? I can't even think of the other. Hackle. Anyways.
What were you trying to say?
The guy who is a tiny guy, but then drinks the juice and become not the Hulk, but the from a League of Extraordinary Men was on it, and I can't think of the name. Oh, yeah, but anyways,
I don't know, brother.
I will try to think of it and be able to answer that next time. But we don't know which team we're going to get, the good or the bad, really. So they've not been very consistent. Again, they do have winning records, so. At home, but they've lost 21 on the road. So again, kind of the same situation. LA loves to play in LA and nowhere else. So I would say, okay, let me just rank them since we're going to do this. Thunder has to be number 1. I'd say Warriors are 2, Lakers are 3. I'm still probably going to go with the Nuggets at 4. Then after that, I would be fine with the Clippers. I'm going to say 5. It could be either way. I'm going to say Clippers and Timberwolves are at that same spot around the 5 spot. So as far as who goes where, here's a great comment or a post that someone put on Twitter. It's a great account. You guys should be following it if you're not. It's CJ, by the way. If the Clippers want to go far in the and be playoff contenders to a title threat, Zubac has to be the second best player when Kawhi returns. What are your thoughts on this comment here, CJ?
Yeah, it's just, and I was watching Zubac play during this time. He was playing great, getting 20 games, multiple double games with the rebounds. Really good passer, underrated passer as well. Should no question be a top 7 center for the next 5 to 7 years. Easily could be top 5. It's really up to him where he could be. He has the talent to be right up there with Jokić, Wembanyama, Embiid. He definitely has that type of talent. It just has to be there every single night, and he's getting better every single year. And I think as long as if him and Kawhi can stay healthy, Kawhi is a dominant wing with a really talented center that I think has another step he could take his game to. Harden still being a playmaker, facilitator at this stage of his career, and 3-point shooter. So Zubac has to be the second best player because we already know what Kawhi is going to do. And, you talk about the players you trust in the playoffs. Kawhi is absolutely one of those players as well. Mm-hmm. So, and he's locked in right now. I just saw like a 7-minute clip of just him working his handles this year. It's just it's quicker, it's sharper, and it's still he's able to get the separation off the dribble and then rise up to the mid-range because you have to step away a little bit because you don't know what he's going to do. And he's going to easily rise and get that mid-range shot every single time. He has the wingspan. It's never going to be contested. He's unstoppable. He's unstoppable. So yeah. In the playoffs, you have that with Norman Powell, who's the average, the most points on the team. With the Clippers.
Crazy.
You want to rank the coaches for me in the playoffs? Ty Lue is top 5. Mm-hmm. So they're definitely in that discussion. I don't know about 2, but I would have Lakers go. I would have Lakers, Nuggets, Golden State, yeah, and the Clippers. Yeah. So yeah, like Harden, what a story that would be.
Yeah.
Whoo! What type of conversations?
Actually,
what type of conversations we're having if Kawhi and Harden win the championship? That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. And that's not, feel like just that's not out of the realm of it's possible because if Kawhi is healthy, you don't know. We don't know. He could easily get 40 every single night. Because what we saw from 2017 to 2019 from Kawhi Leonard was some of the best basketball from any player in a very long time.
I mean, let's be honest. I hate to say this, and it's no just I don't like LeBron as too much, but if we'd had him from 2017 to now playing like that, we might be talking about him a lot more than we talk about LeBron.
I don't know about that. Never that. I don't see that. But he would be in the same discussions with LeBron, Steph, KD. He would be right there.
Okay, he'd be up there, right?
He already is now, but it's like, but again, if he was healthy and with the numbers, because he again is really just because of injuries. But if he had stayed healthy, the numbers he was going to be able to put up, definitely for sure. And how many championships he could have won, absolutely. He would definitely, no question, be in that discussion.
Who was it that stepped out in front of him on that ankle with the Spurs?
Oh, Zaza, yeah.
Yes. Poor, he hurt us so bad. So I believe that's really got us there as far as the biggest threats in OKC. Let's talk about a team. Go ahead. What?
That's a fact.
Okay. So let's go ahead and jump over to, we talked about Luka and the Lakers quite a bit. We do have someone else that was in that trade that is finally back and healthy, who had, let's just be honest, a spectacular performance against the Hawks. As CJ Bros pulls up the graphic, we will dive into that. Trying to see if I can find the stats on my phone as well, but I'm sure you'll have it up here in no time. There we are. And let's see here. Anthony Davis, 34, 15, and 5 in 30 minutes on that as well. Of course, with 2 assists and 1 steal. So, I mean, a stat sheet filler. Great win for him. For a company, 120, 118. We know they're struggling. All the players are back except for Kyrie now. I think that's right. So, I mean, we're finally starting to see them have a bench at least and some of their players back to be playing here. What do you thought of, or what do you think about the Mavs and this performance?
Getting 34 with only 2 threes made. I don't care what these analytic guys tell me. You want to space the floor, but if you're able to dominate your way, you could still impact winning without shooting them. But yes, you need teammates that shoot the threes, but you don't necessarily always have to be the guy that shoot all the threes. If what you do well is so elite and always open, because of what, again, they give up the mid range. So what do you think NBA players are going to do? Go to the mid range. Like, it's simple. So 34, 15, 5 blocks on 61%. Has a championship. Should have a few Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Yep.
When you talk about, I feel like every top player should be a 2-way player. It's just because, why not? I mean, you're making like $500 million, and why not just play defense, right? You're making, it's a fact.
It's too much.
Anthony Davis this has always been his identity. He's able to change the game on the defensive end. He became a champion in college and a champion at the pro level, at the NBA level, primarily because if all else fails, he's going to always bring the defense where he could still impact winning. It's just so unfortunate that Kyrie went down, man. This team would have been, as soon as they come back, Kyrie got hurt before they come back. It was just tough. Lively's there now, and Gafford's back. Yeah. It's crazy. We're gonna have to wait till next year, but man, this is still a great team. The way they play, Jason Kidd, obviously that's one of your favorite players. Still one of the highest IQs ever. Went to the finals last year, so top 10 coach lock. It's just like, man, bro, I just wish Kyrie was healthy. They would have been a problem. Telling me Kyrie and AD are not motivated?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, word. They left. Let's go with it. Let's get our first championship together without LeBron. Come on. So it's still, I mean, I'm still excited to see how they play. I want to see how they play, even not without Kyrie. I want to see because AD, he can still go out there and do what he needs to do. And then the front court, it's just him and Lively. They're throwing the lobs off the short row. It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm AD, I'm hitting up Dirk because I already have it defensively. I just need that. Telling me he's working out with Dirk with the defense that he already has.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with Kawhi. It's just a matter of just staying healthy. That's all it's about with him, and that's what it always has been about. It's never been about talent. It's about staying healthy. Because this 34, 15, and 5, still doing. I mean, women. Remember, Wemby's doing this stuff at year 2. It's crazy. And AD has been doing this for the last 13 years. And like I said, I just hope he can stay healthy, man, in these next 5 years, so we can really see what that looks like, and how his career and legacy is going to be shaped. Because he's definitely one of the best. It's Dallas.
And we've said it for years. I mean, basically year in, year out. I was going to say for years, but like when we get that 10 to 15 days of straight games with, I about said LeBron, with Anthony Davis, we have the discussion: is he MVP caliber? Is he up there with Giannis? So I mean, if he can be healthy, he's top 10 in the NBA right now because of the two-way of what he can do. So honestly, I mean, the Mavs can't win it, but how about LeBron again? Anthony Davis has a lot to prove right now. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder for this playoffs, honestly. They're more than likely going to be in the play-in, but if they can win that first game of the play-in and have a spectacular game from him, it's going to put everybody in the NBA say, okay, we see why the Mavs at least traded for Anthony Davis. I'm not going to say get rid of Luka, but at least traded for Anthony Davis to pair up with Kyrie, and it's really going to put a lot of perspective on what we expect next year. Of course, Kyrie, he's not going to even be playing next year till what? All-Star break, more than likely.
More than likely, he's a special athlete, so you never know. But
right,
I would just say to be on the safe side. That makes the most sense since it happened.
Yes.
So since it happened on the back end of the season.
Right. So we're still going to have an Anthony Davis-led team most of next year too. So, and I think he can be the Dirk of this team. He is, and he's got good shooters around him. So spread everyone out, put him at the free throw line, get it, triple threat, turn around, hey, jab one way, go and attack. They crash, kick it out to Clay for a 3, for Max for a 3, even JP for a 3. I mean, they have shooters around him. Honestly, this team with Lively and Gafford possibly being in the way as far as him attacking there, this team is really set up for a I want to say center, but he doesn't like to play center, a big man taking over the game and kicking out. So Jason Kidd can possibly work some magic with this team now that they're as full healthy as they could be. So who knows? This could be a surprising run for them in the playoffs. Of course, if they become the 7th seed, they'll be facing off against Rockets right now. So I could see the Mavs giving the Rockets a little bit of a run for that first round. I mean, that could be a 7-game series, honestly. Because
I got that game. I got that series at 7.
I don't know who's going to stop Anthony Davis. Yeah, I mean, who's going to stop Anthony Davis on that team? Brooks?
Yeah, they don't have anybody. When he's locked in like this, no one. And that's how it should be.
So, I mean, what if we had...
They have some players that Dallas has to worry about as well.
Yes,
Green,
of course.
Eason, Thompson, Brooks. Brooks has been playing it, having a career year. Like
he has.
The antics, he's put the antics aside. He's been locked in. And he's having a great year. So, Van Vliet, champion. So, Udoka went to the finals as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Chip as a player. So, it
could have already been a champion, but,
It's a great series. That would be a great series. Texas battle. I'm here for that. I'm here for that, definitely.
That traveling would be less expensive in that series for sure.
Yeah, no question.
So,
yeah, shout out to AD, man. This is great to see. and just really trying to get acclimated to his new team, and really trying to show these Mavs fans that I'm here to win. I'm here to dominate.
Mm-hmm.
This is my home now, and I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to try to bring a championship to the city of Dallas.
I'm going to say this: if it's a Rockets Mavericks series in that first round, I'm actually going to go with Mavericks.
Wow.
I do think 7, but I'm going to go with Mavericks on this. I think if Anthony Davis stays healthy, Klay Thompson has won a few rings, it becomes playoff. And, man, I just think they all have a lot to prove in this playoffs this year. Hey, these are the reason that these players are here to pair up with Kyrie. So I'm actually going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and say Mavs in 7 in that first round if that's that matchup. Because the Rockets – they are that young team with inexperience. So if we could say it against OKC, the Rockets would be worse in this situation than that. So I'm going to go Mavs. Who you got? You got Rockets?
It's close. It's close. I still need to see a few more games from the Mavs with AD,
of course,
to really make it because it's not really as I've seen like 20 games with the Warriors in the Lake. You know what I mean? So I could we can make full assessments. Well, right. I believe they're. I want to get the record correct, but I think they only have either undefeated or only have 1 loss with AD in the lineup. So I think they might be 5-1, 5-1 with AD in the lineup. So once we see it, once we get to like 15, we won't get to 15, but we get close to that, we can really see with Lively coming back, with the guys coming back. So right now, I probably still favor the Rockets in that series because they played so much together as a collective. Now they do have lapses in the fourth quarter where they can 1,000% lose, and I would not be shocked because I've seen them have lapses throughout the season where they've blown fourth quarter leads, had mental lapse. They're still a very young team. They're like OKC, a year ago. So it takes time, but yeah, I'm not against that pick. I'm not against it because if AD's playing like this, and then you could definitely get a playoff game, Klay. It's there.
Yep.
I mean, as long as he's on the court, it's possible. Like he's one of the greatest shooters ever. Like this is what I'm saying. There's players ranking on who you trust at certain moments.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
was it 40 points on 13 dribbles, maybe?
Listen, he's a threat. You just can't just leave him open. You know what I mean? It's still Klay Thompson. So they could definitely be dangerous coaching wise. It's a great coaching battle between Kidd and Udoka. I'm down for that for sure, bro. That's a great series.
Yeah. Whew. All right, so let's go on to this. Since we're talking about AD and what would go on there, and of course we've talked so much about the West. Sadly, we've not talked too much about the East, but there's not much to talk about. Let's just be honest. It's Celtics and it's the Cavs, and that's about it. But who is the most feared player in the NBA right now? This is a tough one, honestly. Oh, we got Morris again.
I wouldn't say very respectable. Everyone knows Steph Curry, if not the best point guard that ever played the game, right? But I gotta disagree with you right there. See, and you know who I'm gonna go to? And I know this not gonna be your favorite, but I'm gonna talk about number 2 over there with the Clipper Nation, baby. I'm going with Kawhi.
You got to be crazy! I can't believe you just said that.
And the reason why is because Kawhi healthy is a total different player.
God.
A total different player. And we're talking about offensively. We're talking offensively. Yes, Steph Curry is definitely.
Give me the ball, take the ball from you.
Listen, offensively, Steph Curry, listen, you have to 3-4 guys have to be on Kawhi Leonard offensively, defensively, you don't want him even near the ball. They're going to start out Steph Curry defensively, and we both know that. That Steph is definitely a liability on defense. We know that. So we're going to have to build your game plan around protecting him defensively. Kawhi Leonard, offensively, defensively, and the way he carries teams.
Something wrong with you, Marcus.
When he's healthy,
something's wrong with you,
Marcus.
What?
Marcus, you've had a killer first game.
Sorry.
And you've been fantastic.
You had to have one L. You couldn't go undefeated today. You had to take an L. That take is I mean, he is horrible. And especially on the strength that you just came back from downplaying Nikola Jokić into Kawhi Leonard.
I didn't downplay him. You said top 20. We talking about the top.
But why didn't you respond?
I told you what
the answer was.
Michael, what's your thoughts, brother?
I mean, honestly, I'm not too mad at that.
Morris quotes, and then who do you think is the most feared player in the NBA right now?
So this is probably his take out of everything that we've played on here that I'm not mad at, because what Kawhi Leonard has done in the playoffs has been spectacular, but also on the defensive side. Like he's a menace on the defensive side too. So, I mean, I'm okay with that answer, honestly, because he, like you said, you know, he gives you 40 and he locks you up on defense. He's a two-way solid player. You know, he's the star on offense and defense. So I'm actually okay with that. But if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to say it's Jokić, just because, one, he's the best player in the world right now and what all he does, the physicality that he brings. You have to change your whole lineup when you face the Nuggets with him. So that's who I would fear most. He's got the size. If he gets into the paint, he misses. He gets his own rebound. He still puts it back in. He's scoring. He finds the right person to pass to. It's nerve-wracking to play against a player who can pass the ball to the right person and have players knock it down. You don't know what he's going to do. You know, you've got Harden, who always if he goes left, he's going to the lane to shoot a layup. If he's going right, step back, three. You know, of course, that's his walk. Some of these players you can read, you know what's going to happen, and you can kind of plan for those. I would say with Jokić, there's no stats that stick out to say, okay, he's always going to pass when he does this, or he's always going to shoot when he does this, because he's so unorthodox on what he does. It's kind of hard to even say, okay, he was doing this. Like, you know, he reads and reacts instead of has the bag of tricks that he's going to. So I would go with Jokić. I mean, I would actually say, well, yeah, I'm going to go with Jokić. But I'm okay with the claw take on that one, because he's a solid number 3 on both offense and defense. And most players have that small forward that's going to be your star on your team, and he's going to guard them and still lock them up and give you 40. So I'm okay with that.
Kawhi. So you picking Kawhi too? Or
No. I said Jokić. I'm going to Jokić, but I'm
right.
okay with his answer.
So where would you rank Kawhi?
Completely healthy.
Yeah, right now. He's healthy right now. He's active, dropping 28 a night.
Because what he brings on defense as well, I mean, he's got to be top 5.
Yeah. So again, most feared player in the NBA going into the playoffs. That's pretty much, because again, the playoffs are approaching, so that's the conversation we're having.
I know you're going Brunson.
Most feared player in the NBA. Right? I mean, Jokić. Then I look at LeBron. It's like in the playoffs. And then Luka, Steph. Kawhi is definitely in there as well. Giannis, Tatum. So it's a great mix.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great mix. Who would I choose? It's tough, man. It's tough. I'm gonna go LeBron.
Okay.
I'm gonna go LeBron. I just think again, got the best playoff IQ of anybody else in the league right now.
I agree. And again, I'm not mad at that either. I mean, it's bully ball when it's playoff and it's all LeBron. So I mean, I get it. I understand it.
And now you're telling me as Luka Doncic as his teammate. If we're just being objective. We're talking basketball. We're talking about IQ and making plays. And you said coaches on the court, right? Who's number one? Like, who's the number one coach on the court?
Right.
teams have to game plan for that. Teams have to game plan for that, and that's tough to stop. And now he's knocking down the 3 ball better than he's ever done in his entire career at this stage of his career. It's over because again, you could probably still go under the screen sometimes. But now it's just, he kind of hit a slump since he's coming back from the injury. But before he got hurt, he was shooting the lights out, like 41% like at an efficient game span. So once if you go under the screen and it's a late contest because you have to go over there and help on Luka real fast. It's a late contest. LeBron gets a late contest since when? Never seen that. So that's scary to me. That's scary. So I would go LeBron. I would go Steph. Remember, we used to have these conversations. We had these combos 2 years ago, and we're still talking about the same 2 players. It just goes right back to our first segment. It goes right back to our first segment. So I would have LeBron. I would have LeBron. I would go LeBron, Steph, Jokić, Giannis, Kawhi. No, Tatum, Kawhi. Yeah. Then KD. I mean, KD is not gonna make it, so I can't put KD in there.
So I'm going to say this is why I'm not picking LeBron. And I respectfully, on what you said, I 100% agree. This is what we see when it's playoff. LeBron backing whoever's on him down to the block, basically, and then scoring. But with Luka on this team, I feel like you can't really fear one over the other because who they are. So it's going to have to – they even each other out in a way. Because honestly, this season – do you think Luka is going to be the one that's the one option, or do you think it's going to be LeBron?
Yeah, Luka will have, Luka will be the guy. He'll be the guy. Like, he'll have the basketball in his hands a little bit more, but it's not.
And that's why LeBron can't be the feared, because he's not the one.
But LeBron off ball is scary to me. Because that's something
I get that. I do.
That's something we've really never. We've only seen him do that in spurts in Miami. And really limited moments where Kyrie was still getting his with the Cavs on the return run. We've never seen him play off ball like this. And then again, now he's shooting the 3 ball at an efficient clip. So it's like it's not like you can't even like sag off and go help over there. You have to if you don't respect that, he's not gonna. This is the guy you're leaving wide open. It looks crazy. It looks crazy. That's what I'm saying. So that it looks crazy. He's leaving this dude wide open for threes.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Pick and pop with LeBron setting the pick is crazy.
Look, again, what are you doing? You have to show two to Luka.
Yeah.
So in the playoffs, we're gonna see Luka Bron screen action. To me, LeBron is still more fearful, despite Luka being the primary ball handler.
And I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but if I'm putting 2 on Luka, LeBron's not the most feared because I'd put 2 on him. But I give you this,
the same thing.
But LeBron's mental that you can't really put an assessment on, off the ball, but yet he's still directing traffic. So I get it. Like, who he is just because he's on the court does make a difference all around. But Luka's going to be the one option with LeBron. I won't say being the puppet master, but, the one that's designing the plays. Hey, Luka, you're going over here. Hey, you penetrate. I'm going to be out here. Like, I'm going to be open. They're going to help. They're going to do this. Pass it here. And Luka knows that's going to be true. So I get that. But to me, since Luka is going to have the ball in his hand and you're trying to stop him from scoring and leaving LeBron open, tells me that LeBron's not the feared guy, because if he was the most feared, you wouldn't leave him open.
Well, I mean, I think for me, it's just a matter of who has the basketball in their hands, and a certain possession, because it's the same thing. You have to show, if LeBron has the basketball in his hands, you also have to show too. So if Luka is the screener, you're still showing 2. And this is what makes him so dangerous. You know what I mean? Because you have to show 2 for both players. And now, you might have to show 2 for Reeves. Like, whoa, what do you do? It's different. It's different. It's difficult to stop. So
So the most
It's
feared person
close.
on the Lakers team is who has the ball in their hands, not one person.
No, I think it's LeBron. I think it's still LeBron.
I know you do.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's just they're that special. They're that special. Kawhi, yeah, when healthy, I just need, we haven't seen it in a while, and I'm excited that he's healthy right now, and he's playing some of his best basketball we've seen. This is a really good Clipper team. Steve Ballmer, those guys, they've done a phenomenal job in being able to build that team despite all the injuries he's had. That they've done a great job. They've done a great job. You have to give them a lot of credit. Brand new arena. I've heard nothing but good things about the arena based on looking at reviews and different vlogs that have people been going into the Clippers arena. So it's great. Ballmer's done a great job, transforming that organization from what it was in the years past and what we grew up to know what the Clippers to be. And it'll be great for the league, and it'll be great for the Clippers if Kawhi Leonard is healthy. Again, same thing with it'd be special. So he is definitely one of the most feared players, no question, because he could always get to his spot. He's walking 40 on an efficient clip. 40 on an efficient clip means everybody else can still eat.
Plus, on your offense, you have to know where he's at on defense. So, yeah, that's why I'm not mad at it. You plan for him on both ends of the court. Hey, we're going to attack here because Kawhi's going to be on this guy. Let's go over here. Let's do this. So I'm not mad at all answers here, which is pathetic. I agree. But what else could be technically pathetic is this next topic on what it is. So is comparing eras outdated? That's why I say the pathetic, because I think – well, I'm sure you got the clip or a graphic here. I'll wait until we have that. That is a great debate that's always happened. Which era is best? How far are we talking on here? Plumbers. We know of the whole conversation.
I'm just going to play a little bit of this right here.
It said to me, quote, Steph Curry would not have averaged more than 17 points a game. And now obviously, I think that person should have been drug tested when he said that. But then I quieted down because he wasn't talking about his skill set. He said, in our era, we would have hurt him. He said we would have hurt him. He said he would have had to run through picks. He wouldn't have been as protected by the officials. The game was exponentially more physical now than it was then. Remember when he came into the league with the ankle injury? He'd have never done that with us. We'd have made sure they would have tripped him every chance we got. He wasn't talking about basketball. They were talking about this is the elements that come with the game that we had to endure that these guys don't have to even think about. Now, of course, from a talent perspective, the talent is clearly superior now to what it once was. Evolution kicks in. You learn from the predecessors, you take it to another level. There's no surprise there. The problem is when they were playing, they were judged so harshly. And all of those things were taken into consideration that they look at it now. Rule changes, no hand checking, the absence of physicality that exists now compared to what once was. The road traveled was far less arduous than it is now in their eyes. And they're saying, if these brothers had to go through what we went through. And so when they're hearing these players talk, they expect to hear that level of appreciation. And when these guys don't sit up there and say, damn, I'll put you this way, close it by saying this. If today's players came out, and I'm not saying they should, I'm just talking about them compared to the old players. If today's players came out and said, man, I'm glad I wasn't playing during y'all era. Hell, I'd have got mugged. They'd have beat the hell out of me. If they said something like that, that ends the whole thing. That ends it.
Okay, so we're gonna leave that there for right now, and then we're gonna go to what LeBron said about the NBA eras and his thoughts.
You trying to tell me Giannis wouldn't be able to play an NBA game in the 70s?
Answer. He wouldn't be able to do it.
Neither would you. Neither would you.
Giannis Antetokounmpo would have 250 points in a game in the 70s. 250.
Is that Cousy? When was Cousy playing?
Koozie, I feel like they were cueing you.
I think so.
Brian Windhorst's back here with us. Doggy, do you agree that Giannis would have dominated if he played in the 70s?
Well, I'll say this to LeBron. Has he heard of Julius Erving? Okay. Giannis is not as good as Julius Erving. Julius Erving, who played in the 70s, was on the Sixers in the 70s. You think that Julius Erving scored 250 points in a quote-unquote game or averaged 50 a game? Here's what I want LeBron to do. He probably doesn't seen it. Here's what I want you to do, LeBron. I want you to go take a peek at the 77. You want to go 70s? Go take a peek at the 77 Trailblazers, okay? You go watch Walton, and you go watch Mo Lucas play in the front court. Mo Lucas, who wouldn't take nonsense for nobody. The first time that Giannis would go in the lane, he'd be knocked on his rear end. No three-point line, not a lot of up and down. Let me see Giannis against that team. Let me see him go out there and average 50 points a game. You know what? Julius didn't. He lost to that Portland team in the NBA final. Embarrassed. They lost 4 straight games after they were up 2-0. And Giannis is not Julius Erving. He's not in the same ballpark as Julius Erving's top 12 player in the history of the NBA. Giannis is not in that scenario. So that bothers me. When you bring up the 70s, my era, when I grew up, and I watched every game, night in and night out, to 3 o'clock in the morning. A lot of these finals were on tape delay. To sit there and embarrass the guys who played in the 70s, Bill Walton, Kareem, are you all these great centers? Are you nuts? Giannis is a great player. Nobody's going to say he's not a great player. But don't sit there and say that this is ridiculous to compare him that he's so much better than anybody in the 70s, because he's not. Steve, you know Julius well. He's not on this level. No way in 70s basketball. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm going to give it to Wendy first. I'm going to go last on this one. Go ahead, Wendy.
Wow. So then Dan Patrick, right? He goes on his show, and then he has some thoughts on the era things, and we'll wrap it up, and then we'll get our thoughts on what we think about everything.
Okay.
And Dr. J and all the players who played in the meanwhile, Giannis would not be Giannis. If he was playing in the 70s, he'd be playing with his back to the basket. I mean, it wouldn't be shooting three. He wouldn't be who he is. He wouldn't develop the way he's developed. I mean, the rules back then, how you played back then. Is he getting 250? Well, Kareem didn't get 250. Are you telling me that Giannis would have been better than Kareem back in the 70s?
It seemed, though, like LeBron's point was comparing eras is stupid. We should stop doing it.
I agree with that, but what did he just do? Giannis would score 250 points in the 70s in a game.
Yeah, I mean, I think he seemed to be joking about, I don't think he literally meant he would score 250 points. I think he was joking.
I think he's saying that he would dominate. Now, the 250.
He would dominate.
Yeah.
He would dominate, though.
No, he would be a completely different player. The evolution of the basketball player has brought Giannis to us in this form. Back then, he would be a center with his back to the basket.
You don't think he could play like that?
No, he's not that kind of guy. He's a perimeter. He beats you off the dribble. I mean, he's a guy who shoots, threes. No, he's not that kind of guy.
What? So, what's your thoughts on all this in the eras? But real fast though, Giannis or Dr. J? You got a draft. They're both available. He made some. Mad Dog made some pretty valid points. But it's a draft pick right now. They're both available. Giannis, Dr. J.
You may not like my answer because I have always loved Dr. J. The fact that you see the highlights where he's jumping behind the goal and able to come around on that reverse. You've not seen anybody do that since of the way that he did it, in my opinion. I think he actually could jump and take a quarter off the top of the backboard. Rumor was, of course. So, man, the man was athletic. And to put him in today's era, we don't really know what we would have. So that's why I think the whole comparison of eras is so waste of a breath in a way, because Giannis in the 70s is different. I agree with what Dan's saying here. He would play different. Now, would he not be dominant still at that position that way? I think he would, but everyone would play completely different in a different era. That's all you can say. Like, I mean, I would actually take Dr. J because I think his athletic ability and what he did was just great. And to see him in today's time with a jump shot, shooting the three, have people come out on him isolation, one-on-one with no hand check or anything like that, I don't see you stopping him. But that's because I've always loved Dr. J. I mean, that was one of my first favorite players coming in watching the NBA stuff of the classic highlights you see constantly late at night was Dr. J. So I'm a favorite of him, a fan favorite. So it would be hard for me to if I had the number one pick for point guards, I'm taking Jason Kidd because I loved him. So I mean, over everyone. That's just sorry. I'm a fan of that player.
Okay, so you agree? You think it's outdated? Then we should stop comparing the eras.
Yes, because it's completely different. The fact that LeBron spends millions of dollars on his own body each year because we have that technology to keep him fresh. I mean, if we could have done that back then with Dr. J, how many more years could he have played? What could he have done? So I mean, it's just you can't compare them. Because we don't have a LeBron with the physicality that we did in the 90s. And that's always been that conversation. It was a big man's league, and Michael Jordan still dominated with the physicality that they had. What could he do in this era of offense first instead of defense? Would be great to see Jordan now. But, again, you can't compare it. There's no point in wasting a breath about it because – it's all opinions, and there's no facts going to be done on this. Yes, Giannis could have scored 215 points. I mean, obviously that's not happening, but you just can't compare them. It's dumb. It's a waste of breath. Sorry.
I'm on the other side. I think it's necessary. It's really just about how you have the conversation. I think
I agree.
Is the most important thing. Is how the conversation is being had. If you're saying these guys played against plumbers and technicians, that's
right.
Disrespectful. That's disrespectful. But if you want to have a philosophical X's and O's type of discussion as to why this era, this and that, then
I'm for that.
Right, exactly. I don't see that as anything negative. Dr. J or Giannis. Never really thought about that in a debate, and that's why I feel like Mad Dog is kind of necessary for like sports talks right now, because he does come from a certain era, and there's a lot of people that still love sports and watch sports that lived during those times. They saw Kareem, they saw the legends, they saw Dr. J. So when you're bringing
they saw the plumbers.
So. When you see that, when you see someone from that era being on the show and bringing up those great teams that they watched, that they grew up watching, it makes you do is it makes you look back and do your research on those squads, like how great was the team. And, so him bringing up the '77 Blazers, great team, all-time team, one of the best teams ever. Bill Walton, rest in peace, doesn't get the credit. Because he ultimately got hurt, but he was right up there. They were dominating UCLA. I mean, the record speaks for itself. Everybody, UC John Wooden, legendary. So I would take Giannis over Dr. J. If I was doing a draft. I needed a forward. They're both available. I'm going with Giannis because of the slashing ability. I feel like if Dr. J played in this era, it would be very similar, but it needs a better floor spacer. I think the defense, just because of the versatility from Giannis and what he could do at 6'11", and he could guard multiple positions, that would really give him an edge. But when it comes to being a dog and stuff like that, obviously, comparing that's what they both are because they're all time. I would just favor Giannis just because of the versatility at his size on the defensive end. But yeah, that's an under. I was an under. I'm saying it's necessary, bro, because I would never even thought about Dr. J versus Giannis. You know, and what Dr. J's done in this league, not in the NBA before they merged in the ABA. You know, Harlem legend. So it makes you go back and think about the things that he accomplished and what made it. He got the nickname. You know, all over these NBA Street games back in the day on PS2. A lot of those players were created off of what he did. So the NBA, the eras, right? Again, I think it's necessary. I think it's good. As long as you do your research and you're having real conversations. If you're having casual conversations, Dan Patrick says Giannis shoots threes. Win. And this is my real take. But one of my real takes. I feel like if you're working in the media, you need to take an NBA or NFL or any type of sport, you need to take an assessment on said sport before you can cover the game. Because any other job, most jobs, big job, high profile jobs, you take an assessment. So if you're going to cover the game of basketball, you need to know what a DHO is. If you don't know what that is and you're covering the game of basketball, how could you really cover the game if you don't know like what's going on? You're just watching it and then just talking about it at the end, like, hey, this guy scored this amount of points, that amount of points, and that was it. If that's all you're doing, or you're just looking for the story, the biggest scoop, or trying to create drama, that's not truly talking about the game. Because to me, like if you're gonna talk about the game, you have to inform the reader as well. Like, yeah, it has to be a mixed bag. There has to be some entertainment. Also has to be informative. Has to have a lot of things to make it great when it comes to content. So, when it's just when you get away from the actual basketball and the IQ, it makes me think about like, do these guys actually know what they're talking about? And then you see what they say on TV. You see what they say on TV, and you're like, are they being hyperbolic just for clicks? I believe yes, but still, like to me, I could never just go out on the internet and say Giannis shoots threes when we don't see him shoot threes. Like that was just sounded pretty casual.
I mean, he does shoot, but he doesn't shoot threes. Like, you know, the way he's saying it is like that's what his one of his weapons is shooting threes. So just to put perspective, I looked it up real quick. Giannis has shot 107 threes this season, which sounds like a lot. 100 threes in a season for Giannis sounds to me like a lot. Steph has shot over 700 threes this season. So just to give you some, options there. So does Giannis shoot threes? Yes, but he don't shoot them on the way that he's acting here. So no.
Yeah, it's just I think that all-time players would dominate in their era because they're dogs. They had the hard work, they had the great work ethic to become great. Didn't matter what time period they lived in. That's who they were in their character. So I feel like whoever, regardless of era, you place them anywhere, they would have dominated. They would have been able to adapt. Great players adapt. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about these great players, I believe they all would have adapted to the circumstances that they would have been put in, and they still would have been successful. So I just, it's, when you say, what Giannis scores 250 points. No, that was, obviously I was a little over the top with LeBron, but he's averaging 30 right now. Kareem dominated in the paint with the hook shot. Giannis is dominating the paint, but it's different. But with his size and his strength, yes, he would have had better footwork, and that would have made him he would have potentially be a multi-time champion. And he still has that opportunity to do so. His footwork has gotten better over his career for sure. So I just feel like it's just, I think if you're smart, you take what made the last era great and apply it to your era now, because it's still basketball. So when you do both, you have a great player. That's why Jokic. That's why I feel like that's why Jokic is who he is, because he is a combination. And you had said this earlier. He's a combination of both eras, where he could shoot the three at the 5 spot, but he still knows his identity as a center, and that's mid-range, and that's where I'm dominant.
Yeah.
And that's where no one could stop me. Exactly. So that, when he combines both eras, and this is why you give, and then plus his special gifts, and this is why you see what you see. We need to get back to doing that, because I do feel like there's some centers in the league that don't have any footwork. They're just rim runners. They're not able. Okay, Jokic is able to dominate on his end. What are you going to do about it on your side of the basketball? You're just going to roll to the basket? That's all you can do when your whole life is basketball? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we should definitely, in this era, we should definitely have more dominant centers because of the spacing, because of the taller guards, so they'll be able to see over the defense and throw lobs like Luka, like LeBron, like all these great wing players we've seen. We should see much more dominant. We see plenty of great guards in today's era, but we don't see a plethora of elite centers. We see the top number one is Uno, right? But then you got Embiid, Wemby, Zubac is in there.
AD, but he's the 4, but
yeah, I'm saying like centers, actual centers,
right?
Chet Live, they're up and coming. Khalil Ware's up and coming. Jared Allen, Mitchell Robinson, Şengün for sure. Like there's solid. There's good numbers, but when you look at back in the day when they had Ewing, Mourning, Shaq,
Hakeem,
Mutombo, Hakeem, David Robinson, it was definitely a different time, and they were all skilled. They were all skilled. You just see a lot of rim runners now.
And even with that, like they were skilled, and they were being double teamed. In today's era, where there's 4 at the 3-point line, it is basically an isolation. It's that ISO for the big. Hey, instead of they able to slack off and help out, well, you got 4 people ready to shoot a 3. There's no way you can really help unless you got your guards that are going to be, basically recovering like crazy. Okay, I'm here, so this guy's going to help me, and all the way around. But still, like you're running them to death on that. So that's why you have Giannis, who goes down low with his back to the ball, gets it, does a couple dribbles, single coverage, basically one-on-one. And if anybody moves to help, hey, I'm kicking out for the 3. So, yeah, I agree. I don't know why we don't have more skilled set offensive bigs than what we do. I think that's why Şengün is one of the good guys that is up and coming, because he is a passer. When he does get that ball, he's able to make the right reads and attack and kick still. So, yeah, we have, I hate to say it, I'm not being mean, but we have McGee, who made a career in the NBA that couldn't do a thing other than jump and catch a lob. I mean, he tries to score on the opposite goal in the NBA.
I can't go that far. I mean, he ultimately, yes, he was an elite. He was a rim runner, but he developed some skills which made him a champion.
Yes, I mean,
so early in his career, it took a while, and he was on the Wizards. Like, it's not at the time, wasn't the best place for development, especially for centers.
Well, I'm going to say this too, because this is one of my favorite. I won't say favorite players, but one of the players I really like, especially when I was in fantasy basketball, because 15 rebounds, 15 points is DeAndre Jordan. But he was another huge size that really didn't have any skill sets on what he did, other than I'm going to run up the court, I'm going to set a pick, and Chris Paul's going to throw it up, I'm going to do something with it.
He was perfect for that system.
Right. But he never developed any kind of actual skills as a big man to, I won't say talent, but to back to the goal, making moves. He didn't have any of those skills. And with his size and the way he could jump, he really could have dominated at the center position that way. I mean,
absolutely. With his, like you said, with his leaping ability, no question.
He
No
could have
question.
been
But he
like a
still had a
Shaq,
great
that
career.
hard dribble, size, jump, and just dunk on them, man. But you don't have that.
Still had a great career. Still had a great career.
A long
but
career too.
Yeah, still going right now. But definitely, he did have the talent. He has the talent at the time when he was young. That's what I'm saying. Shaq in his era with dog. I was just watching highlights from Shaq. I mean, it was just one dribble dunk, like one dribble dunk, and there's no center in the NBA right now, not one. So when he says Barb, that's what he would go Gobert. It would look sad. It would look sad. Shaq versus Gobert. It would look sad. It would be. It would. It would be. It would be like, how is this guy? Yo. And so I'm saying he's very fortunate that there aren't players with that type of mindset like that at the 5 spot, because we would be having completely different conversations.
And I know I said I don't like to comparing the eras or whatnot, because you can't really compare each, but we can take players out and say how they would have been here. But one thing that I wish we could have seen is Shaq in this era, for the fact that he had handles. You know, he could dribble the ball. And, you know, it was never a thing in the NBA that the center get a rebound, bring it up. But could you imagine Shaq on a fast break? We've seen it a couple of times with him and Kobe throwing the lobs, you know, the hand that he did. If we could have had a coaching that said, okay, Shaq, you get it, let's go with it. Because, you know, at the beginning in Orlando, he was slim. He was very mobile. Get up and down the court, run them the break. Man, Shaq in that era, oh, man, I don't even know about this. But Shaq in that era would have been great. Man, that is tough. Of course, for the guys that are and gals that are going to be listening and not hear what I'm talking about or see what I'm talking about, CJ just brought up here, cut one player. And it's, of course, centers. That's what this episode has pretty much been about. I mean, you've got great centers. CJ, I'll let you go. You take care of it.
In their prime.
In their prime.
You got 01 Shaq, 93 Hakeem, 2025 Jokić, and 72 Kareem. Those are the best. Those are their best seasons for all 4 players.
Man.
So I put a poll up on IG to see what the pick was, what the ratings are, and who picked what. I'm just gonna look at those right now. Let's see here.
I tell you who's not being cut. For sure, Shaq did not get cut at all.
So we got 1 vote for Shaq, 6 for
Are
Hakeem.
you serious?
Hold on. 6 for Hakeem, 2 for Kareem, and 3 for Jokić. So this is very tough. I mean, first off, you add Bill Chamberlain, and those are the 5 greatest centers ever.
Yeah.
By the way, just want to clear the air there.
Bloody Divoc's in there too, right? I'm joking. Calm down, everyone.
01 Shaq is a lock.
Yes. The only
30,
lock?
33 and 16 in the finals. That year against the Sixers. 4 blocks.
That makes me want to go back and watch the 01 season.
I'm gonna send you the highlight tape. It was just like, I mean, he made David Robinson look regular. David Robinson, quad dub, David Robinson.
He was a cheat code.
Duncan and David Robinson had no answer for him. 0. And I think they played each other in the second round in the playoffs in 2001. They had no answer. I'm just watching. I'm like, yo, so you're telling me that's a lot. 01 Shaq is a lot.
Who did you cut?
It's tough, bro. It's very difficult, man. It's very difficult. Jokic's season is not done, so this is very tough. all the the three other guys we've seen to be so in their prime. Who would I take in their prime right now? Or who would I? It's like Kareem. It's like it's wild. You just can't.
To me, and Kareem is almost another untouchable.
I might have to say. I might have to go. Olajuwon. I might have to go Olajuwon just because he didn't have the scoring that the three others guys have. Now he's the best defender, and when it comes to skills in the post, face up, post up, two-way ability. I mean, even though Shaq is top 10 all time in blocks, I believe Kareem is up there as well. So, but definitely Hakeem is one of the greatest defenders ever. He would probably be the one for me because Jokic 60-point triple double and a loss. So it's like, I could see him getting a 70-point triple double. I mean, you telling me that would never happen? I think that's going to happen. I think he'll get a 70-point triple double at some point. There's no one that could guard him in today's league. No one that could guard Shaq, Kareem, and the hook shot. I mean, he was the all-time leading scorer until LeBron broke it. Held the record for 20 years, unstoppable. I mean, he's an unguardable player. Held the record for it, and it wasn't threes.
Yeah, all twos and ones.
They did a discussion. Shaq, Adam Lefkoe. He asked Shaq like, what would happen if it was him and Jokic? And he said Serbian chicken. 0-1. He said 0-1 Shaq versus 2025 Jokic. Who you got in that matchup?
I've got Shaq. Yeah, but I mean, Jokic is not stopping Shaq. But can Shaq stop Jokic? I think the physicality would stop a lot, but he's still going to be okay.
Jokic will get 2 fouls in like 4 minutes.
And I think Shaq's physicality would be able to guard him one-on-one. No help. Hey, I've got him. So that takes away his one of his options. He's not passing the ball. So can he take Shaq one-on-one to the hole and score consistently? That would be the tough part, I think, because I think Shaq says, don't even bother helping, and let's make him one-dimensional, basically.
Now the refs would have to 1,000% stay away from the whistle. You have to, because these are the two best players on the court. So there's going to be a lot of no calls. That being said,
Shaq.
Yeah, I mean, they would still get the calls. He would still get the calls. And if he was a better free throw shooter, I feel like he would have passed Kareem.
Oh yeah,
because he was definitely getting to the line, just wasn't a great free throw shooter. But even with that said, one dribble, dunk, just one dribble, and that's all it took. Because he was able to get to his spot. He's too strong. You're getting Shaq off his spot. It's not happening. So. Yeah. I'm going with Owen. I'm going with Owen Shaq. Owen Shaq definitely an all-timer right there.
Probably still going to Shaq.
And he pretty much said like, yeah, even though Jokic was able to shoot the threes, he would just run right to the paint and, like I said, get to his spot and just post up. You're not getting him off that spot. And he said he would make more twos than he would make threes, and I believe that. Because one, Jokic should be in foul trouble. He'd be in foul trouble. You'd have to come out there and you'd have to put Jokic at the 4 to keep him away from foul trouble. You have to. And you got to put DeAndre Jordan at the 5. That's the only way.
And that's still, I mean, DeAndre Jordan is not stopping Shaq either. I would say I think defensively he would have a better shot at Jokic. But that's not saying much.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so, bro. You got to change your whole lineup for Shaq. And this is what I mean. It's different. It's completely different. You literally have to play DeAndre Jordan just so he can take the fouls because you can't afford Jokic to get in foul trouble. Yep. That's a game changer. That's literally changing the franchise.
Yep.
That's changing the franchise, bro. Like, okay, in this lineup, if we want to win this series, we have to put a guy that we really don't play a lot. But against this team, against that guy, you have to play however many minutes, and you got to take these fouls. You have to contest, keep your hands up, do whatever you need to do.
Yep.
But we can't let our best player at the 5 get in foul trouble. So now you're looking at a completely different lineup for the Nuggets. You're not changing your lineup for the you don't need to change. You don't need to change your line. The Lakers don't need to change their lineup up. They don't need to because, as you said, Shai could stay right there with him on those post ups. He's not moving, and he's athletic enough. He's going to block those shots.
Yeah, I even think he could guard him at the 3-point line. I mean, Shaq had some mobility to him that gets overlooked because of his size.
No, it does. It definitely does. So yeah, man. If I had to cut one player, it would be Kareem. It's very difficult. Very difficult choice. I mean, Hakeem. It'd be very difficult, man.
Yep.
But it's just what Kareem was able to do.
Serbian chicken.
It's true.
I would agree with you, sadly, on who we're cutting. Listen, we're at 11:30 pretty much here. We've been on for 2 hours. We still got quite a few topics. Is there any that we can skip?
Yeah, I just want to get into the Taylor Jenkins situation.
Okay.
Getting fired. What's your thoughts on that?
I think it's crazy. I mean, absolutely crazy at this point in the season. Plus, with the team not doing so well last year because Ja was out, and he still, wasn't fired at the end. So I don't even know what the reasoning for it was, because Memphis is ranked 6th. They're 45-32 right now. So why are you even considering? You're in the tournament. You're in the playoffs right now. Like, you even have a spot right now, and you're saying that your coach is fireable. I don't get it. I really don't. I think this is crazy. I don't know why that he was fired or let go. What was even said about it? Just here, ESPN says breaking news: Grizzlies have part ways with their head coach. Like, there's no reasoning, and so I don't get it. Do you know of a reason why he was fired? Like, does it make sense to you? I think really it's a dumb move. Now, let me say this first, because I thought it was dumb to fire Mark Jackson at Golden State. He had the team playing well, had them at that level. I thought it was dumb on that firing. Bring in Kerr, and we know what happened after that. So maybe the Grizzlies are saying, hey, Jenkins, you got us to this point. We are still ready to win. We got to upgrade and move forward. So I'm going to say it's dumb now, but who knows how it goes.
Yeah, this definitely was a shocker, because you never see this. You never see a team playing this well, being one of the top teams in the conference, the most competitive conference, and they fire their head coach. So it wasn't about basketball. Plain and simple. There's no way it could have been about the game of basketball. In some ways, maybe, because there have been some talks about the play style. Ja wasn't a fan of the play style. I don't know how true that is. His numbers weren't what we're accustomed to seeing and what we were expected to see. They kind of played more of a team oriented type of style, and it was working for them.
Fired
because there was a time frame there where Ja wasn't playing, so he had to figure it out. They had to be able to win games. Yeah. So they brought new methods and just added some more ideas and creativity to their offense. When Ja's not in there, I think that helps the team a little bit more. But maybe there was just a disagreement philosophy wise. And listen, if that's really what happened when it came down to, you're gonna go with the player, of course. I mean, because he's the guy that puts the people in the seats. It's a business at the end of the day. Taylor Jenkins, he'll be all right. I think he'll bounce back soon, get a job here shortly. He's one of the best coaches in the world. I don't think he'll be out of a job for too long. I think we already see his value. What team could that be? People are talking about Philadelphia, potentially Phoenix. I think Phoenix would be perfect. I know Budenholzer. I know he's from the Arizona area, and but I think Phoenix would be nice if he was to go somewhere to the east. I mean, I don't really see Hornets got Charles Lee. He just got there, so he's still got to be able to build his identity for what he wants the Hornets to be.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Pelicans. Listen, Willie Green's been there for a little while. I know a lot of it isn't his fault. Zion's been out and hurt. They've missed a lot of
as he is now.
Exactly. So, but if you're David Griffin, your job's on the line. You see one of the best coaches available. You might have to have some specific conversations. So, surprised. Curious to see what the Grizzlies do. I mean, they gave the interim head coach is the guy now.
Mm-hmm.
They got a big win in Miami on the road tonight. They needed that win for standing purposes. So they're still playing together. They're still there, and they lost a couple games, but those games were still close. Like they were down and they came back. So it's not like they're just like lost all hope. They're still a very talented team. They know how good they are. Just things are going to be different. So we'll see if this new Grizzly team, what it looks like. Does it help them? Are there challenges? I'm interested to see what this new Grizzly team looks like. And again, I feel like Taylor Jenkins, he'll be all right. He'll find a job soon, especially towards the end of the season.
Yeah. I wonder if Washington would be a landing spot for him. Getting the number one draft pick, possibly saying, okay, this is where we're going to go build a future. Because how many times have we said it in the past 2 years, Washington has no vision of where they're going. So you get Cooper Flagg coming in, you get a coach that has showed that he's good enough with a winning player, what he can do. Maybe we can say, okay, come on over here. Let's give us a franchise that actually has a vision where we're moving forward. But I don't know if he would want to take that.
Could be the Spurs. Could be the Spurs too. He came from the Spurs. He's a Popovich disciple. So came from that coaching tree. Very possible.
Pop is retiring, right?
And it's not official, but I mean, I just think if they're looking at Jenkins, then obviously that's what that means because Jenkins is going to get a 5-year deal, right?
Right.
You know that. But Fernandez in Brooklyn, but I don't know what Brooklyn they have a lot of assets. They can make some moves. They get a player like Giannis. These billionaires, they don't mind buying out a contract to get somebody in there better. Especially when you have an opportunity to bring in a superstar player.
Oh my, yeah.
Maybe the Bucks. They get rid of Doc. Taylor Jenkins come in there with Giannis and Lillard. I think that'd be pretty exciting to see what that was. See how he views them as a duo, and if what that could look like in his way and his style. So there's options there for Jenkins. But yeah, I mean he built something there. It's tough to see. It was the grit and grind, and in the 2010s. Then it kind of fell off. Guys got older, guys left, and then Ja came there. They turned it around. Taylor Jenkins was right there too. So it's disappointing to see. I thought he would be there for the long haul, but it's a business at the end of the day.
Do you think this maybe is a sign that Ja could possibly be traded at the end of this offseason or at the end of this season?
Anything's possible. As we saw this year, anything is possible.
It's a business, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna. It definitely could happen. Guys get upset. They want to go somewhere else. I don't think that's where the Grizzlies are at right now at this point. How does the front office view Ja? How do they view the future of the Grizzlies? That's the real question. And I with their next few moves, those are the answers we're gonna get. We got one last. Who will MNC choose before we get out of here? See what your thoughts on this is. Create the best duo.
Best. I got it already. Booker and Kevin Durant. Boom. Not playing.
If we're going guard big, I'm going. Maybe I would just put defenders and shooters around these guys. I'm going Luka and Jokić.
Okay. I mean, that's 100% okay.
But if we're just going like just straight duo, who do you want on the team? Your two guys. I'm going Jokić and Wembanyama.
Jokić and Wembanyama?
Yeah, and Wemby, yeah. How you stopping that? Putting Wembanyama at the 4. Oh, no, I'm putting Jokić at the 4. Wembanyama at the 5. How you stopping that front court?
It's tough.
You got Wemby in the dunker spot. He's pretty much kind of doing what Aaron Gordon's doing. What? Those lobs, those little touch passes. Jokić, it would be really unstoppable. My organization win multiple championships. It'd be one of the greatest. It'd be one of the greatest teams ever. How are you stopping Jokić and Wembanyama? There's no answer. That's the best. That's the best duo on this picture right here.
I've got different options that I'm thinking here. One is, of course, KD and LeBron, Steph and LeBron. Just
I'm thinking about like going forward though. I'm thinking like future.
Right. Yeah. Right. Honestly, I think if I was picking a 2-man duo to start right now, if I knew he would be 100% healthy, I would want to go Steph and AD, actually. A pick and roll with that, a pick and pop even, just to keep moving on. AD has so much ability, and it kills me how hurt he's been. Because like we talked about on the episode, 5 blocks, I mean, he's a defensive player too. He was a point guard in high school and then grew to be the center. So, I mean, he has the weapons there. And he played at Kentucky. I mean, I can't deny that part. But Steph with that, man, it's hard for me to get away from that. I'm so glad that Bam made it on this list, but obviously that's not going to be a chosen pick here.
That'll be unstoppable. Steph and Jokić should be unstoppable.
I agree.
You got the best, one of the greatest inside threats versus the greatest outside threat ever. So
yeah, okay. I want to go Steph and AD, but Steph and Jokić, oh my goodness. I mean, it's basically an upgrade of Jamal Murray, and it's Steph is the upgrade.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Multiple championships.
Yeah,
but
I actually think that would prolong Steph's career too, to have that.
Easily. I was just looking like going forward, and like Steph and LeBron easily. Those are
right.
KD and LeBron. But I'm just thinking about you wouldn't have an answer for anybody. You wouldn't have an answer for those two from a height or skill standpoint at that height.
There would be no 2s against them.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, they'd be 30.
So yeah, I'm going to stick.
30s.
Okay, I'm going to go Jokić and Steph, but I want to pick AD and Steph. Just the mobility there.
All right.
That's Steph being the number 1, but Jokić and Steph. Jokić would be the number 1 to keep Steph happy or fresh. There's a lot of options there, and then there's also a lot of players on that I'm not really sure why they're even in this discussion.
Like who?
Well, one, I mean, I love Bam, but as far as the duo, when you have some of these other guys, I don't know why Bam is technically on there.
Wasn't second best player on those Heat teams?
Yes, he was, but still, I mean, Brunson, why is he on there?
That's funny, bro. That's funny, bro. Yeah, we know why he's on
That was a joke. I was playing with you. That was a joke. I mean, honestly, I don't know why James Harden's on here. Yes, he's a great player, but when it comes to playoffs, I'm not wasting my time on him because he can't do anything in the playoffs.
That's fair. I mean, he still should be on there, but that's fair. That's fair. That's a fair criticism.
Right. So, I mean, do you think Derek White should be on this list?
Yeah, he's third best player.
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown's not on here. That is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
So we skipped the number 2 player on that team to add Derek White. And this must be from ESPN. They must have created that. That's why Jaylen Brown's not on there. I'm sorry, Jaylen Brown. I've come a full circle. Let's just be honest. I hated Jaylen Brown when we first started doing the show. Now I love him. Jaylen Brown, give me a jersey, man.
Yeah, he's his own guy. I'm telling you. He's a great player.
He's learning to dribble. All right, we got anything else?
That's it, man.
All right, sounds good. Guys and gals, we are so thankful for we still have 47 live after 2.5 hours on this. We are so thankful for you guys joining in. And we know people come in and go, busy lives. We get that. Thankful for all of you podcasters that listen this whole time afterwards. But, we do other things other than just MNC Hoops. We got other things going on. And CJ, some of those things, where can they find you at?
Find me CJ vs. the World on YouTube. Show me some 2K. Try to get back into Madden as well. College football.
Oh. Let me know when we play some Madden now. That 3v3, I love it.
Yes, sir. I got you, bro. So yeah, we're just getting it back into the gaming wave for a little bit. So yeah, CJ vs. the World on YouTube, trying to get to 200 subscribers.
And honestly, guys, if you're not watching his content, you're missing out, especially the shorts, man. I don't know how you come up with all those clips and piece them all together. It's great. It's a piece of work. It's art. And great job on those. I have another show, MNC Hoops, where I talk everything Kentucky basketball. We had a lot that we talked about just yesterday with the transfer portal. CJ, I know you don't like or you don't get into college basketball that much, but can you believe the transfer portal after week 1 had over 1,700 players in the transfer portal? That is stupid, and it's killing college basketball. But that's it. If you have an opinion or would like to know what we say, please go check out that episode. Cats Chat. Of course, you can follow me on anything social media platform, MDLawson00. And just, hey, you never know what I'm going to talk about or post about. It's probably some type of sports, but hey, I also like food, so I'll throw those in there a few times as well. Yesterday, we talked quite a bit. What's your favorite Pop-Tart?
Pop-Tart. I just like the OG, the original one.
The chocolate fudge? See, that one to me is...
Not a strawberry.
Go ahead. Strawberry. Okay, that's number 2 on there. I get it.
Yeah.
See,
just keep it
I'm
simple.
a s'mores man. Give me the s'mores, and you can keep the rest. I think the chocolate fudge is so overrated, and we get into that discussion on Cats Chat. We like to talk about random things because I'm ADHD. It happens. But guys, let's wrap this show on up. We're thankful again for all the clicks, likes, subscribes, do that whole 9 yards. We appreciate all that. We'll be back next week, hopefully on Tuesday. Hopefully I don't, fatigue out from baseball practice again. But we'll catch you all out. I guess there's 6-7 games left. So, we'll be 1 week away from getting ready for the playoffs. So we'll definitely dive into that and see who's looking like they're playing, where will the Suns actually be in it, and possibly even some free agency talks and trading people. Where some landing spots might be for some of these teams. But until then, guys, keep balling. We're so thankful for y'all joining us. Y'all have a good one.
Catch you guys next week. Take care.